This is 2025 again. God has spoken another word to me. He has given me another word, and I'm trusting Him. Of course, 100% trusting Him that He's going to do everything that He has told me. So, gather here, let me tell you about God. Background story about myself. I got married in 2021, May 8th. So I had to wait for so long, for 3 years, before having my baby. I used to belong to a group because I was a Baptist before I got married to my husband. So there was this group that I belonged to. The name of the group is Lydia Auxiliary. I will attach a picture of it so that if you're familiar with it. So there's this lady, her name is, let me not mention her name. There's this lady, she was one of the Lydia then when I was still in Baptist. Of course, she's still a Lydia. So I got to notice that every day she do display something on his status, and it was constant for I didn't even notice how long it was, but it was constant. It's every morning that he keeps posting, she keeps posting that same word. So I spoke to myself that what could this be? And at the same time I love the fact that she keep posting that one statement, yeah, every day, because if you keep hearing or seeing something every day, it will begin to stick in your brain. Then you begin to meditate about it, you begin to understand it better, if you get what I mean. So I talked to myself that I can also do this thing. Then after then I was like, what will I be posting if I start this? Because actually I discovered that after starting this, many people started. In fact, some people will just screenshot what I posted, then they will post it on their WhatsApp status or again, not without knowing why I posted it, the meaning of, like, the motive behind it. So back to my story. So I thought about it. Then I spoke to myself that, okay, which word would I be using? Because I don't want to use the same word she was using. So I will then I said to myself that, okay, I will pray to God about it, and God will give me a word to post. I could remember that year, 2022, that it started in 2022. That year I prayed and I got the word that I got then was, great is his faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. So I began to post, great is thy faithfulness, every day. And would you believe that throughout that year, 2022, God proved himself in my life, in my home, that he is faithful, which made me to know, it made me to understand the fact that it's not just a word, it's a word for me, it's a word for my home. So I have the word and I believed it. And because I believe that great is his faithfulness, whenever I pray to God, every day that I pray, I always put it in my prayer that I know you are faithful. God, be faithful in my life concerning this, concerning that. And God proved himself to be faithful, because that same year I got pregnant. I got pregnant for my baby. That was the year I got pregnant. So he proved himself to be so faithful in my life and in my home. So that he established that word in my life. As if that was not enough, before the end of that 2022, I began to pray again that 2022 is going to an end. Which word would I use? Would I begin to post in 2023? He gave me another word. He gave me another word. He said, great. The word was all sufficient God, which means that whatever I need, be it earthwise, financial aspect, every aspect of my life, or whatever I want from God, he is so sufficient. He is able and more than able to give me all that I could think of, all I want, whatever, whether I could think of it or I could not even think of it. There is absolutely nothing that I need that God cannot provide for me. So he told me that 2023 that he is all sufficient God. If you are a friend and you are on my WhatsApp status, you keep seeing that post, that all sufficient. It's just that I don't have many of the people that I have on my WhatsApp status. My YouTube is kind of private. It's not everybody that know that I'm on YouTube. So back to my story. So he in 2023 he gave me that word, all sufficient God, which means he's sufficient to me. He can provide all that I need. He can provide all that I want. Just think about it. God is all sufficient. Is it money? Is it good health, children? Is it goals that you want to achieve? Anything, whatever obstacles that you think you are having, God is all sufficient. He has power. He has everything, absolutely everything that you need, that you could think of. So he is all sufficient. Immediately he gave me that word, I believed it, that God, this is 2023 again. I know you are all sufficient, and I know that you are going to be all sufficient in my life. He proved himself to be all sufficient in my life again in 2024. Oh, sorry, I made mistake. It started in 2023, not 2024. I forgot that we are in 2025 already. So when I mentioned that he gave me great is his faithfulness in 2022, I meant to say that 2023. So the all-sufficient God was for 2024 and not 2023. So he gave me that word, all sufficient God, in 2024. Then I believed it. I was pregnant. Then I was pregnant in 2023, but a lot of things happened in 2024. But he proved himself to be all sufficient. 2024 was supposed to be the toughest year for me, for my home, for everybody in Nigeria, because of course everybody knows what is happening in Nigeria, and I base in Nigeria. But it was as if I was not in Nigeria. Financially, God was sufficient. Health-wise, God was sufficient in every ramifications. Even when I was about giving birth to my baby, that everything began to look somehow, I key into that word that God, you told me that you are all sufficient. There is nothing too difficult for you to do. This you can do also. And he proved himself again that he is all sufficient. He keep proving himself to me that he is all sufficient. If you get what I mean. Even when, just like I said, when I was about giving birth to my baby, that time a lot of revelations, if not for God, I would have been gone, like dead. I would have been no more. But God proved himself to be all sufficient. He proved himself to be everything basically for me, for my home, for my husband, for that my baby, for everything that has to do with me, for my family. He did not allow me to shed tears over anything. They did not shed tears over me. So he proved himself again to be all sufficient. I don't know, you may not really understand, but I understand what I'm saying deeply. Again, when 2024 was about rounding up, 2 months before the end of 2024, I began to pray again that God, 2024 is going. What else do you want me to start posting on my status? And I mean my WhatsApp status. He gave me another word, and guess what? He told me that it will make a way. Wow, that's so big, because I began to think about it. So I began to think about the meaning of God will make a way. Like, what do you mean you make a way? What would happen in 2025 that you say you make a way? It means that then I knew inside of me that no matter how 2025 would look, God will always be there with me. God would always make a way for me, that it will not be tough for me. It will only get better. Even when it seems to be no way, God will definitely make a way. Even when it feels like I should give up, God will make a way, that I should not be afraid. Imagine, I have satisfied that He is faithful, that great is His faithfulness. I am so sure that He is all sufficient God. And again, He told me another thing 2 months before 2024, that He would make a way, that He will make a way. He is definitely going to make a way. And I'm sure that it's not for me, for everybody that came into that world. God will make a way for all of us. Whatever it is your goals is, whether it's beyond you or you think it's simple, because so many times our goals, so many times we think some things are simple, but along the line you get to know that wow, this thing is not as simple as you think. God is telling you that, it's telling you, it's telling me, it's telling everyone listening to this that he will make a way. I don't know why I'm using would. He will is there's certainty in it. It is so certain that God will always and will consistently make way for us. So if you believe so immediately he gave me this word. Ever since we started 2025, I have keyed into it. Whenever I'm praying about anything, I always remind God that God, you told me that you will make a way, and he has always been so faithful. So he has always been so faithful. We are still in January and God has made a lot of ways for me. I have I have a lot of testimonies already, and I'm so sure that I'm going to have more and more of this testimony. So I'm urging us that God is faithful. God is real. In fact, God is so real. If you have not been hearing from him, please try and hear from God. Try and begin to hear from God. If you don't know how to hear from God and you want me to talk about about this too, you can comment in the comment section so that I'll speak about it in my next video. Thank you if you have watched this video till this very end. I love you so much. Please try to subscribe to this channel, like, share, comment, and put on your notification bell so that whenever we have videos, you'll be the first to be notified. Mind you, we have content about motherhood, about Christian motivations, about social work, about fashion, basically everything about lifestyles. I don't want to hide anything for you guys. I want to carry you along as I live my life, the lifestyle channel. So I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hide anything. Whatever you say you want to know, I'll put it out for you. Thank you so very much for watching this video to this very end. And before I say I will see you again, I want you to know that even though we are still in January, God will continually make way for us, not just for me, for my family, for you, for your family. So I'll see you again in my next video. Bye bye.